Hey, welcome into the Southern Beer Review. We're back at the Birmingham District Brewing here in Birmingham, Alabama, to bring to you a review of the newest release from the Birmingham District. That's the Iron American Amber Ale. You see a can of it right here, so they do have it for sale in a 4-pack, 16 ounces 4-pack, and they also have it on draft, which is what we're going to be sampling here in just a minute. And I thought I would open up by reading a brief description of the beer. It comes in, it's a red ale, American Amber at 5.8%, 31 IBUs, named after the iron-rich area of the Birmingham District. This Iron Amber Ale stands up to the illustrious Birmingham history. Rich in color and taste, come in and see for yourself. At only 5.8% ABV, this brew is the perfect option when you need a little something more out of your beer. William?
Yep.
You want to give it a try, or you got?
Yep, let's do it.
Cheers.
Very smooth, first of all. Obviously, for an amber style beer, they're usually characterized by, malty flavor.
It's got it.
There can also be citrus hints, which I don't taste a whole lot here. But for an amber, I think this is incredibly smooth. But you do taste the malty notes.
Very malty,
for sure.
but not sweet. I wouldn't say overly sweet anyway. It's got an hint of sweetness.
And by the way, I'll say this real quick too, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Birmingham area. The Birmingham was built on steel, and the beer is named for the iron ore that was mined out of Red Mountain, which is, as the crow flies, maybe a half a mile from here. Iron ore is obviously one of the ingredients used to make steel, along with coal and limestone. So not to get too much into a history lesson, but that's where and that's another thing I like about the district, is most of their beers are named for things about Birmingham in general. But very, very smooth, but with malty hints for sure.
Yeah, it does have a smoothness, but it's got enough complexity, I think, to make it interesting. It's not just just an completely easy drinker. It's an easy drinker, but with enough complexity of taste,
right,
that I would enjoy. I enjoy this beer.
Right, and looking at the menu here, it comes in at 5.8 ABV, which is not high by any stretch of the imagination. So a session beer too. Most ambers are. I don't know that there are many ambers that are too high in ABV.
This would be a good, if you were looking for a go-to beer just to drink on an average night. I think it's just about any season. This would be good.
Another thing too, John, I like about ambers are ambers seem to be kind of a happy medium between your lighter beers and your darker beers. You think of an amber as being kind of a red ale or whatever in there. So it's very flavorful, easy to drink, but it's not going to kill you with the ABV like some of the higher alcohol IPAs will.
It's got I don't even know if I would say that's a peppery bite towards the end, but it's got a nice little bite at the end.
I agree. The finish is extremely
Yeah,
good.
the finish is what I was thinking about. The finish has got a nice little bite to it.
And I would even, we're doing this in December, and I would say this would even be a good winter beer, even though you would generally associate winter beers with being stouts and that kind of thing. But I would say this would be a very warm, kind of wintry type of beer.
I can see you enjoying this beer in the early spring too.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very tasty option. That's not overdone. It's very balanced, I think. Although it edges towards maltiness, it still has a nice balance. I mean, this is a really, really strong beer, I think. And I don't know what they're planning on doing this, but the fact they've already put it in cans makes me think it may be something they're going to use as a flagship. I don't know.
Well, according to some of the guys who work here, they dropped it about a week ago. It was extremely popular. They're refilling the cans nonstop, and like John said, it might end up being one of their staple beers, along with the Pilsner and the Lose Your Way IPA and the other beers that you're probably familiar with if you come to the district at all.
So they compare it to something. Excuse me. It reminds me a little bit of a Fat Tire.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got, and I think a fat tire, if I'm not mistaken, is an amber. It may be, it may not be, but that's in my memory. It's a fat tire's an amber. But I'm definitely, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's going to appeal to a lot of people. I think it's not. It doesn't have a harsh, hoppy taste or too harsh of a malty taste. It's, like I said, very balanced.
A lot of the ambers I'm familiar with are what you might call a little extreme on the malty side, which I don't think is a bad thing. But this is, although you can taste the malty hints and a little bit of caramel, it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Super easy to drink. So.
And another thing I like about this amber is I've seen this on some other local ambers, in local Birmingham ambers, so they taste a little watered down to me.
Yeah.
This is not tasted all watered down. It's very much a beer. Yeah.
This is definitely a good craft beer amber. So I guess what we'll do to wrap things up is
we need to rate it.
Do our 1 through 10 deal, and I don't know whose turn it is, but I'll go first if you want.
Go ahead.
If you've watched any of our podcasts, you know that we're big fans of the Birmingham district, which is where we are now. But I don't want to. I want to be fair to the beer and to the people that are listening. I think it's really, really good, and I don't want this to be indicative of the fact that I think it's a bad beer or anything. But I mean, if we're doing 1 through 10, and I'm being honest with myself, I'd probably give it a 7. I mean, which is not. That's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but 9s and 10s are super special. We've never given a 10.
A 7 is something I could drink on a daily basis, I would say.
Yeah. So I would go with 7.
To note the lacing here on this glass here is really nice.
Yeah, it is. You get an idea of the color.
I'm a few beers in. It's my birthday, by the way. So I'm a few beers in, and maybe this is coloring my rating. I'm gonna give it an 8. So I really enjoyed it. It's got just that extra. I don't know. In some ways, it reminds me of a Samuel Adams Boston Lager in terms of just. Obviously, it's not a lager, but it's got a little bite to it that I just really, really enjoy.
I will tell you this as we kind of wrap this up. If you ever come to the Birmingham district and you just want to get a good beer, and you don't really know, this would be one I would get.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's really good. So 7.5.
7.5
is really good on the scale. So once again,
good about that.
Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to try to bring you at least one more before the Christmas holidays. But we appreciate y'all checking this one out.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please consider liking and subscribing.
Thanks. Y'all.